ever met a woman who seems to have defied time? You know, she walks very, very briskly. Her laughter is very contagious. Her eyes seem to, twinkle, and she seems to emanate some kind of glow on her face. When people meet me for the first time, after talking a while, and they seem to ask and seem to find out for whatever reason how old I really am, the standard response is, "Oh my, you look much younger than your age. We thought you're really not really your age." In fact, some of them would even prank me by asking, "Okay, Malu, we demand proof." Some of them, of course, were joking, but a few, was serious. And when I would look at their face and say, "I'm not kidding," so I have to bring out, my senior ID card. The one I show to establishments, because in the Philippines, having a senior citizen card would allow you to have um, discounts in supermarkets, in restaurants, and all of that. And they will look like this, and they look at me, and then look at this, and look at me and say, "Okay, I give up," and they return it to me. Now, of course, I'm flattered. Who would not be? And I noticed some kind of pattern here. It's from all walks of life, like my colleagues, same age, my colleagues would say the same thing, whether they're male or female. And the younger generation, the younger generation I work with, of course, they call me tita. In the Philippines, if you want to show respect for an older person and you're younger, you call the female tita, which is really auntie, and tito for men, which is really uncle. So the young people call me Tita Malu. But my clients and my friends and my contemporaries would call me Malu or Miss Malu. Alright? So after having this pattern, I got curious. Said that there must be something here, But I would brush it aside until I came across an article titled "Why Some Women Really Look Younger Than Their Age." And then I said, voila, there is really something here. And I became more curious, and I have decided to dig deeper. You know me, I always want whatever I'm sharing with you, either science backed or backed by research and scientific studies. And so, this whole month of November, we are going to do just that. Okay? My curiosity, raised some questions in my mind. Said, what could be the reason why some women really look younger than their age? Is it genes? They're just blessed with genes, or expensive creams, imported, all of that, which I cannot afford. Or is it a very secret diet? I've tried all the diets. All right, I stopped dieting. I just eat what I like and in moderation. And I guess, I'm okay there. And so I bring you 8 episodes, okay, for the whole month of November on the science of agelessness. All right, so that's our overarching, theme: the science of agelessness. Okay? Now, science. Let's begin. Science tells us that there are actually three a definition of age. I will talk about the first two now, and then the other one is episode 2 and 3. Okay, they say there's such a thing as chronological age, the number of candles on our birthday cake. Okay, all right. So that will be born. Okay, this year and this year will be this young or this old. And there's also what we call biological age. It's how the body really functions inside. Because we could be 20, but the age of our heart is 50, because we don't live right and we don't eat right, things like that. So research even came up with what we call measuring biology markers. Is it no biomarkers? That's right. They call it biomarkers. Like blood pressure, like immune strength. Even the length of telomeres. Okay, in the caption there is a telomeres, and these are the cap at the end of each strand of our DNA, and that is supposed to tell us how long we shall live. It's longevity. Talk about longevity. So if it is longer, then we have longer life. If it's shorter, then we are aging prematurely. All right. So the Nobel laureate researcher, Dr. Elizabeth. Let me just check if yeah, correct. Elizabeth Blackburn. She studied. She studied telomeres. She really studied the telomeres, and she found out that stress, mindset, and lifestyle really affect telomeres. The length. Either they are longer, they are shorter, or they are preserved in that particular stage. She did that, and so isn't it interesting? Yeah, that says that really means it boils down to youthfulness is not just seen in the face. It is actually what affected by the way we live our life. I call this the alchemy. The inner alchemy of youth. Yeah, let's call that the inner alchemy of youth. When you say alchemy, it's an ancient medieval term. For someone who works with chemicals, base materials, and transmutate them into something else. So in the dictionary, if you look at alchemy, it's really the process of turning something into something different. Okay, mysteriously. So that started in the Middle Ages. So it's medieval in nature. So what's the inner alchemy of youth? Okay, and let me read. Let me read here. Women who seem ageless, okay, often have something in common, according to research. Is that they possess an inner equilibrium. Equilibrium means balance. There is balance between mind, heart. There's balance among all the aspects, of our life. So that's equilibrium. They possess an inner equilibrium. Okay, and then zest for life. Well, orange zest, lemon zest, but zest basically means enjoyment. Okay, enjoyment, and a certain calm that comes from self acceptance. Okay. They still get excited. I mean, the zest for life. These women, they still feel excited about seeing sunrise, sunset, a new book, a new dish. What something new. They still get excited over these small things, right? Psychologists call this the third a kind of age, subjective age. Remember, chronological age, number of candles on our birthday cake, biological, how our body inside actually function, and then now you have subjective age, and that is how we feel, how old or how young we actually feel. So it's very, very subjective. And studies show that people who feel younger, actually live longer and have a better mental health. Can you beat that? Okay. One large German aging survey discovered that feeling like 10 years younger than your actual age, right? Correlates with lower inflammation. Inflammation is the cause of every disease, whether it's cancer, diabetes, or ortho something. Okay, all right, and higher life satisfaction. Osteoporosis. Okay, fine, osteoporosis. Okay, actually, so when people say you look younger, I'm sure what they really mean by that is they're actually seeing the spirit, okay, within you. All right. So, Harvard psychologist, you will always hear her name, okay? Harvard psychologist Ellen Langer. I would always refer to her studies. She conducted a study it's a counter clockwise study, and it's very very interesting. She she got a group of elderly person, really 70s, 80s, even 90s, got them. Okay, and then put them in a house for her experiment. But before they all went together into a house that was designed by her, okay, I'll tell you what was this other design. They measured all the biomarkers like their blood pressure, their joint, their joints, their their the way they breathe, the face, the wrinkles, even the length of their telomeres. Okay, that was the before data. Okay, what was the experiment? The house, okay, was fitted with 1959 stuff because the experiment said that they were told, all of these elderly people, to live like the year 1959. So everything in that house looked like a 1959 house. The newspapers on the 1950s, magazines 1950s, music 1950s, clothes, they were asked to wear clothes of the 1950s, the fashion, the food, etc. So she recreated, a world in 1959. And then the elderly people, the subjects, went inside and they stayed there for, I think, 4 to 8 weeks. I don't remember anymore. After that, okay, time, they went back to the biomarkers. Okay, the blood pressure, everything was okay. In fact, their limbs are greater. Nothing changed. They were not given vitamins or anything like that. They just lived with the thought that they are living their youth, 1959. Even their telomeres were lengthened. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. So what does it tell us? Okay, the bodies respond to the messages, okay, that our mind tells them. So we are 1959. We're living in 1959. So they acted as if they were as young as they were in 1959, and every part of their body, actually changed, to match that. All right. So the moment you say, now I still feel 30, then every cell of your body listens, and that's where the agelessness, come in. Okay, and so a person who loved deeply, who had known loss, but not bitterness, who carry gratitude instead of regret. This is what makes that person, okay, person possess the soulful dimension of their youth, okay, without changing anything. Can you imagine that? All right. So ask yourself today, before you go to bed. Ask yourself, how young do I feel today? Not in years, but in wonder, in joy. Okay? So this is the first episode, okay, for our series, and this is episode 138, 138 in our science of agelessness. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. In the second, in the next episode, the second in the series, in the next episode, we will now focus on the psychology of youthfulness. So really, really scientific facts that we can really use to be able to affect our body in the cellular level and look and be, okay, much younger than our real age. Okay, remember, youth is not a time of life, it is a state of being. I would always say that as my concluding statement. Okay, until then, this is Miss Malu. Okay, Cervantes, your life coach, your fellow sojourner in the most exciting era of our life, the autumn of our life. And I'll be seeing you, next episode. Goodbye.